Drag and drop from the object list Electro-Voice, EV amplifiers, a TG7 RCM28 amplifier into the worksheet. The amplifier dialog opens, asking you how many amplifiers should be added. In the line How Many, enter 5, then click on the OK button. Now 5 amplifiers are added to your worksheet. From these, we will later use 1 amplifier for high, 1 amplifier for mid, 1 amplifier for low, 2 amplifiers for subs. With a double click on the amplifier bitmap, the so-called user panel opens. This panel gives quick access to the most important amplifier parameters like name, temperature, power, and some basic control functions like level and mute. In the right lower corner, a button with an arrow symbol can be found, which is labeled as DSP Set. When you click on the arrow button, the so-called Setup and Control dialog opens. In the Setup and Control dialog, the detailed configuration of an amplifier can be done. On the Config and Info page, for example, the power delay can be set. A power delay prevents a high current when switching on multiple devices simultaneously. IrisNet will set 150 milliseconds multiplied with the amplifier number as a default value. This means that your first amplifier has 150 milliseconds, the second amplifier 300 milliseconds, the third 450 milliseconds, and so on. Besides, you can label here the amplifier itself, its input channels, and its output channels. Also, the programming of the control ports in, outs, and jobs is done on this page. If you want to power on/off your amplifier with a hardware switch connected to the control port in 1, then just select Function, Power, Parameter On for in 1 on, and Function, Power, Parameter Off for in 1 off. Also, the selection of the input can be found on the DSP page. It can either be analog, digital AES EBU, or digital coming via Omnio network. Furthermore, the amplifier can be configured as a break-in box for a Dante or Omnio network. The following options exist: analog input, AES EBU input, or auto. On the DSP page, all DSP parameters can be set. On top of the page, you find navigation buttons which allow navigating to input parametric EQ, input delay, routing, array parametric EQ, array delay, output parametric EQ, output crossover, output FIR filter, output delay, and output limiters. With a click on the inputs, routing, or outputs, one comes back to the flow diagram view. Alternatively, it's possible to change directly to the input parametric EQ by clicking on one of the input PEQ DSP blocks. The input parametric EQ offers 10 filters for input B, which is orange, and 10 filters for input A, which is green. As default, the type PEQ is selected, but also low shelf, high pass, and low pass are available. By moving the white drag point with the left mouse button pressed, you can change frequency and gain. With the right mouse button pressed, the Q of the parametric EQ. Of course, also using the up and down buttons or manually entering the values is possible. Don't forget to press Enter after each entry. Back to the flow diagram overview. The input processing with PEQ and delay is intended for making adjustments to the location or personal taste. The array control section with additional PEQ and delay DSP blocks is intended for individual adjustments of loudspeakers in an array. The speaker processing is intended for the loudspeaker processing. Electro-Voice offers settings for a variety of speakers in the so-called IrisNet speaker setting format. For our XLC system, we even have the choice between classic IIR processing or FIR processing, as you can see when you click on the IMP button. Browse to the IrisNet main directory. In this example, IrisNet, version 2.9.0, speaker settings, Electro-Voice, FIR drive, XLC series, XLC music setting, with subs, 80 Hz. There, you will find settings for the three ways of our XLC top, high, mid, and low. Select the high setting and click Open. Confirm the warning window with Yes. The speaker setting is being loaded. It contains settings for the PEQ, crossover, FIR filter, delay, and the limiter. All adjustments which are made in the DSP can be saved to presets. You can choose between user presets U01 to U30. On the speaker page, so-called speaker files can be loaded. These show the factory measured frequency response curve of your loudspeaker and have no effect on your audio signal. When you load an Electro-Voice speaker setting, the matching speaker file is loaded automatically in the background. This happened also when we loaded the setting for our XLC top high frequencies. Alternatively, a speaker file can be loaded manually by clicking on the Load button. It can be cleared by clicking on the Clear button. When we go back to the DSP page, then we can include the speaker file in the view of one of the DSP blocks, like the FIR filter block. First, we only see the DSP processing. Then, after we activate the Include Speaker button, we see what really comes out of the speaker. Before you start loading speaker settings and files, channel by channel, please watch Chapter 3, Working with Groups. Go back to the flow diagram view. Loading the factory preset F01 resets all DSP parameters to their default values. Close the Setup and Control dialog. Don't forget to save your project file.